Hi everyone, today we're going to break down Vertigo in terms of Alfred Hitchcock as an auteur. First, it is important to consider what actually makes an auteur. In this case, we will be looking at four components: technical competency, distinguished personality within the film, an interior meaning relevant to the exterior, and of course, the director as a primary creative force. Before getting into Hitchcock as an auteur, it is important to recognise the vital use of collaboration within Vertigo, even within the introduction as made by Saul Bass, integrating the spiral motif seen throughout the film, arguably as well as introducing the topic of voyeurism through a close-up of an eye, already conveying the importance of watching or observing that becomes central to Scotty's obsession later in the film. Collaboration was also present within the film score, produced by Bernard Herrmann, becoming central to the film's portrayal of obsession, with Herrmann's love theme used repeatedly in the presence of Madeleine, as well as with the use of what appears to be endless chords which are never resolved, with the generally cyclical nature of the score serving to the constant reminder of spirals and recurring thoughts displaying Scotty's growing sickness. The vertigo effect created by the dolly zoom was also produced in collaboration, down to the work of Erman Roberts, yet again displaying the importance of others in creating the film. However, despite collaboration typically working against the auteur theory, in the case of Hitchcock it seemingly only furthers its point, as Saul Bass and Bernard Herrmann's presence in a Hitchcock film is no surprise. For example, both also working on Psycho and North by Northwest, arguably highlighting them as a part of Hitchcock's artistic vision, therefore keeping him as the primary creative force.
In the beginning of the scene, there is a gradual tracking shot as the camera moves into Ernie's restaurant, further reinforcing the recurring motif of voyeurism seen throughout the film. The set design puts an emphasis on the colour red when we see the interior of the restaurant. The colour red could allude to sensuality and Scotty's eventual attraction to Madeleine. However, the use of red could also hint the possibility of danger, as Scotty's attraction to Madeleine leads to his downfall as the film progresses. The camera throughout this scene moves slowly and carefully, giving a dreamlike quality, also giving a sense of fantasy, which is significant in that Hitchcock, as an auteur, consistently throughout his films employs his ideal blonde fantasy woman who Madeleine represents in Vertigo. The camera then stops and focuses in on Madeleine, suggesting that she stopped it in her tracks, arguably foreshadowing her power as a femme fatale, a theme that will be apparent as the film progresses. The diegetic sound of people talking in the restaurant fades to a dreamy piece of music that could represent the way in which Scotty feels in that moment, with the camera slowly panning into Madeleine with her back turned to us, hinting at a sense of enigma.
Hitchcock clearly conveys the idea of Madeleine as a fantasy within the scene in which they walk in the forest, such as within colour and lighting, as Madeleine wears a white coat with the light at points shining down on her only, creating a hazy glowing effect. White not only often connotes ideas of purity and innocence, but with the combination of lighting also suggests angelic qualities that Madeleine seemingly possesses, presenting her as the perfect woman by highlighting features all connecting to passiveness. Simultaneously, Scotty in a brown suit that becomes almost black in the dim lighting, as if he himself is no more than a shadow following Madeleine, acting as a visual representation of his feelings of inferiority in comparison to her. This is reflective of male insecurity, particularly at the time of the film's release, on the cusp of second-wave feminism, yet again providing evidence for Hitchcock as an auteur, as the film creates interior meaning, which provides an exterior meaning within the real world.
The scene in which Judy steps out as the image of Madeleine, we are immersed in the fragmented perspective of Scotty. We have very little knowledge about Madeleine other than the various motifs we connect with her, such as the colour green, her grey suit, and a particular ethereal score by Bernard Herrmann. The simplicity and ambiguity of her character makes it easily replicable, which is reflected perfectly when Judy steps out in the familiar grey suit as the sickly emerald green gleams around her figure, with the familiar love score being played most intensely at this moment. The use of these elements showcase the strongest he has felt from Madeleine was for the image. He had a fragmented perception of Madeleine and could only love that illusion. And under his fragmented perception, we are immersed in his fantastical world and are, like Scotty, deeply satiated to see the image of Madeleine again. This is haunting and uncomfortable and reflects the voyeuristic, surreal image Hitchcock explores as an auteur.
To conclude, we believe the components of each of these scenes clearly portray Hitchcock as an auteur, displaying technical competency, distinguished personality within the film, an interior meaning relevant to the exterior, and of course the director as the primary creative force. Thank you for watching and putting up with that awkward voiceover. Recording, does that do anything?
I don't know, Charlotte. Shall we find...
Oh.
I don't know, Charlotte. Shall we find out?
No.